Welcome to Hacking Gourmet. We're obviously Fredless today. I thought it was going to go real smooth. It didn't. We're a few minutes behind schedule. Had technical difficulties per usual. It was always something new, Brian. Yeah, welcome to Hacking Gourmet. This is our October special. This is called Gourmet Play, aka Chucking Gourmet. It's got a Chucky theme, so we'll be doing fall-themed dishes and chuck dishes and hacking dishes. Because of the slasher season. But welcome aboard. We'll see. We're going to be doing our best. I am going to play a little background music in the background today, just because if there's some quiet time and some downtime between Brian and I, you'll have something to listen to. So there we go. But we would ask if you would now, if you're watching the show, please on Facebook, hit the little share button in the bottom right-hand side. I've been watching. We don't have a lot of shares. We asked. So if you would, please share. That gives us a bigger audience and allows us to expand further and provide a better show, hopefully. Honestly, I promise if everyone shares tonight that the next show we won't have any technical difficulties. But anyway.
Bold statement, Cotton.
Yeah. But you can follow us on YouTube at Hacking Gourmet. Follow us online at hackinggourmet.com for all the exciting. But let's get into it and actually bring Brian on so I'm not here on the screen all by myself. There we go. Brian, how's it going?
Man, I don't know if I would know what to do if the show went without a hitch. It's kind of our thing.
The thing that's amazing about it, Brian, is that it's something new every week. It's not like it's the same issues week to week. It's always something different. Like today, the issue was my computer wasn't working 2 weeks ago. Now it is working, but my television's not working, which I connected to. So it's literally something new every day. And you asked me, it's like, how did you fix it? I have no idea. It's just about around 5 o'clock every other Monday, everything seems to kind of work out. But yeah, anyway, Brian, welcome to the show. We've got the sizzle cam in the background here, so you can see my Cavs and the American flag Crocs are being worn today. But anyway, let's get right into it a little bit. Where have you been, Brian? What have you been up to?
Well, I've been around here lately. Did a big old brisket yesterday that turned out really good. And got some ideas coming up for the week that I want to try stuff like today. Today is something I've never done before. I've never cooked a chuck roast before. So that's new. And so I'm still trying to do some stuff I've never done before and see how it turns out.
So the last time we were all together was Leaf Meats and Bones. And that we had the Wood Butcher on there. We had the folks from Meat and Bone. That was the preparation for the Gourmet Smoke Session we had with Tobacco Leaf on the 24th, which went really well. We had almost 200 people that participated, which was really nice. I know we had at least 10 people that participated in the food portion, and it was kind of a soft launch of that. We'll get into this more at the end of the show, but we have our official launch of the Gourmet Smoke Sessions coming back on the October 29th at the end of the month with Two Guys Smoke Shop and the Cigar Authority. But we'll get into that. But Leaf Meat and Bone was a great success. And our Gourmet Smoke Session was really enjoyable for those that got a chance to watch it. We had a really fun time with that. And again, if you're interested in taking a look at that session, it's still available on the YouTube channel. And you can jump right on there. It's the Tobacco Leaf La Flor Dominicana Gourmet Smoke Session. It's about an hour long. A lot of exciting stuff on there. We had Tony Gomez from LFD Cigars. Aaron the Wood Butcher was on there. And we prepared a prime tomahawk ribeye with a smoked sea salt, which was delicious. And the drunken cheese was probably the thing I enjoyed the most. I was going to share that, but I ended up eating the entire block of cheese throughout the presentation of the steak. So that didn't get shared too much. Which was too bad. But anyway, Fred's not with us tonight. He's traveling. He's in transit, I believe, south on October 19th. Our special episode will be the Texas Takeover. I'll be playing Meterator for the day, and all the boys will be down in Texas on the 19th doing something fun. So I know Fred's slowly working his way down there. And I'm already looking forward to having him back because I thought I liked to talk, which I really do. I also really enjoy cooking, and the challenge is I feel like I have to speak even more now because we get to fill some of the time. But Fred, you're greatly missed on my end. We need you back. We need our Meterator. You are missed. So I don't even know where to go from here. We have show notes. I wrote them. It's a mess. It's already a mess. It's already a mess.
It's already messed up, but that's right. That's the best part of our show is the train wreck that you just never know when it's going to derail, but when it does, it's always glorious.
So Brian, I'm going to flop over to you here. What do you got going on
Okay.
today? You got a good setup, good camera angle. Talk a little bit about. You didn't send me any ingredients, so I have a special picture actually to put up on the screen for you. Me after I take the food out of the smoker. I think this was produced by our friend Jeff Greiner. It has you shirtless with a championship belt.
Yeah.
So this is what will be your ingredients today.
Yes. All right. So I did this. I treated this chuck roast like a brisket, so I've been smoking it all day. Then I put it in a tin with a little bit of beef broth, Worcestershire sauce, and onions. Put it back on the smoker till it hit an internal temp of about 200 degrees. It's resting now. It'll be ready to go here in a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a Dr. Pepper barbecue sauce to go with it and do a barbecue beef chuck roast sandwich. What they show you how to make a homemade barbecue sauce with Dr. Pepper. And of course, Texas, you do Dr. Pepper and you also do Whataburger ketchup.
Delicious.
And ingredients. I tell you what, the ingredients on the sauce real quick is 2.5 cups of Whataburger ketchup. It's a 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar. It's 7 ounces of molasses, 1.5 cups of brown sugar, and then it is 1/2 teaspoons of red pepper flake, cayenne pepper, granulated garlic, ground mustard, and onion powder. All mixed together. We'll get that in the pot, get it simmering, get it boiling, and then get it ready for the sandwich.
Beautiful. So I've got going on here today, we've got, I'm doing lamb chops. So we're doing a bloodied lamb chops. It's going to be lamb chops. Said it 3 times now. I think it's like saying Bloody Mary. If you say it 3 times, lamb chops, the actual little puppet shows up. But it's going to be truffle salt, rosemary, olive oil, raspberries, orange, honey, some Grand Marnier. I don't have it. I forgot to pick up Grand Marnier, so we'll do, we're going to do rum with it. So we'll put a little bit of rum in there. And pepper. So the bloodied side of it, I wanted blood orange, but they didn't have blood orange at the store. So I have just a navel orange that we're going to use and put that with the raspberries. It'll be real nice red, real deep color to it. That's the bloody side. And then we're going to do a smashed sweet potato. We've got a butter, whole milk, salt, pepper, garlic, olive oil, lemon, some steamed asparagus, and some sour cream. And then I also used over the weekend, we posted a picture of the 24-karat golden steak that we did here down in Miami. I used saffron in my mashed potatoes. It was freaking delicious. I don't have any left for today, but that's a nice addition if you're doing just a regular mashed potato. But we're going with the sweet potatoes here, so I'm not going to put the saffron in. But we'll also add a lot of garlic. We'll be considerable on the garlic. So yeah, it should be a nice dish. Looking forward to it. I haven't had lamb for a while, so that'll be pretty nice. Let me flip it over here to the grill cam so you can see what's going on onto the side here. We've got the lamb chops. Got the lamb chops down here on the bottom right-hand side. I hit them with white truffle salt. I've been using white truffle salt when I was down here in Miami. It's probably my favorite salt on the planet. Absolutely phenomenal. Used quite a bit of that. Salty's good. We got some Driscoll's raspberries. As I said, sour cream, whole milk. So this is set up. We'll do cast iron. I've already got the pan seasoned here. We're using 8.5 Wagyu filet fat. I left that there over the weekend, so that'll be nice. And the sweet potato, we're just going to put in a little bit of water here at the side. One thing I did that was kind of a hack is I froze this sweet potato a couple weeks back. And when you come back and it's frozen, it keeps the inside a little softer. So it'll already be kind of mashed a little bit before I put it in there. But we'll add a little bit of water to that and the milk and the butter, and we'll have a good time. And then we'll finish up making the sauce. So that'll be good too. We'll probably throw a little butter in the sauce as well. Why not? Lots of butter today. But there we go. So I guess this is a perfect time. We'll jump over to our first ad read here. This is Wood Butcher, Maine. Our friends at Wood Butcher, Maine. We had Aaron on last week. That was a great time. And here we go with Wood Butcher, Maine. Introducing durable and attractive wooden creations to your kitchen, backyard, grill, and home using native Maine wood and other exotic wood species. I also just saw that Aaron was making cribbage boards this week, which is cool. Wood Butcher Maine products include butcher blocks, cutting boards, coasters, grill grate cleaners, and more. And a hacking gourmet favorite, the red oak cigar ashtray and cocktail coaster. Visit woodbutchermaine.com to explore their current collection. Exciting stuff. I said Wood Butcher Man was part of our first session there on the 24th, so thank you to them. Good times there. What you got going on, Brian?
All right, so I'm getting this sauce put together. I'm gonna bring it up to a boil and then down to a simmer, and just start letting it do its thing. Putting the Dr. Pepper in now. Got all the ingredients combined. And I'll tell you what, let me take the foil off of this chuck roast. I'll show you what it looks like after I've smoked it all day. And it's just really resting. But this is a cut, man. I've never made a chuck roast before, and all the research I've done, they've suggested that you treat it like a brisket. So that's exactly what I did. I don't know if we can get a. That's the chuck roast right there. So it's pull apart tender right now. So I can either, like pulled pork, and use forks and shred it. I can chop it or slice it. You can use it either anyway. But I do have a quick question for you, Carney.
Absolutely.
All right, so I am not like with a lot of things. I have very little experience. As a matter of fact, I've never cooked lamb, and I've only ate it on a few occasions. What is the difference when you say lamb chops? But I hear people also mention mutton, and I thought mutton and lamb is like the same thing. Am I wrong on that?
You know what? I have no idea. So we got Cole in the chat box here, our friend Cole Averill. He'll answer that question for us. I cook just regular lamb chops. He asked me if these were New Zealand or Colorado. I'm using New Zealand lamb chops today. Usually what I just do, Brian, is I usually just do lamb chops and leg of lamb.
Right.
Occasionally I'll do some of the shoulder chops. But I haven't those are the only things that I cook when it comes to lamb. So hopefully Cole can answer that question for us. That would be good. But I mean, I have heard that before. I've heard the term mutton. I just have no idea what it is.
I'm going to guess, but I think it has to do with the age of the lamb, I think. I think if it's an older lamb, it's mutton. If it's a younger lamb, then you still call it lamb, which I've never understood why or the rhyme and reason behind that.
So I got going on here. I got my sweet potatoes on the grill. On the stovetop. Cole, the question was, you want to ask Cole that question again, Brian?
All right. So I've heard the difference. What's the major difference between lamb and mutton? Because I thought meat-wise it's the same thing. I've always heard it came down to the age of the animal. I think I might be wrong on that, but what the major difference is between lamb and mutton? Because you always see a lamb on a menu, but I rarely see mutton on a menu.
So he says he thinks veal equals lamb and beef equals mutton. I think it might be reversed. I think baby lamb must be mutton, and baby cow must be veal, right?
Yeah, baby cow is veal. I know that.
Yeah, so then baby lamb must be mutton. So a young lamb would be mutton.
It's got to be an age thing then.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, different age ranges. So good question. I guess that's something I should learn. That's why I'm a hack. But I got going on here. I got the sweet potatoes. Those are sitting in the water here. Those are going to start boiling here soon. And then I've got my cast iron pan, and I've got this saucepan warming up here that we're going to break down some raspberries in first. We're going to add the orange juice at the end, but we're going to layer these flavors a little bit. But a bunch of raspberries going in, a little saucepan, and I'm going to put the rum in early, and then I'll start adding the butter and cream and all of that stuff as we go on a little bit further. But right now we got rum. We're going to do considerable rum. So we got rum going in there. We've got raspberries, and then we're going to put some other stuff in once that starts to break down a little.
All right, saffron. Does that come from cilantro?
No, saffron actually comes from crocuses.
Really?
Yeah, so it comes from a crocus, and it's it's essentially like the little hairs of the inside of a crocus, and it's actually per pound the most expensive herb or spice in the planet. And usually you don't get a lot of it. Like it's so light and so thin, but it takes a lot to cultivate it. And then there's different grades of saffron based off of where it comes from on the plant, different styles of plants that yield different amounts. So it's really interesting. So I've had it before, but it's very robust in terms of its flavor. And it's also used as like coloring. It has like a yellow color. It's red kind of when you look at it, but it has like a yellow coloring. So the mashed potatoes that I made with it at the end of it were like yellow the next day. But it was awesome, and I can still smell the saffron in the house, which is awesome in itself too. So it's kind of fun to work with saffron. It was a really unique dish that we had put together there, so that was interesting. So enjoyed that. But yeah, saffron was awesome. I wish I had some today because it'd been a great addition.
And that's another ingredient. Less is good. Too much is bad.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's get this up to a boil and thickening. Trying to figure out a way when Fred gets down here to do kind of either like a rib or brisket or beef ribs or something like that, and figure out how to time it to where it ends when the show starts, so where we can prep it and get it ready to eat. But it's one of those all-day things that's hard to figure out when they're going to actually finish up.
So how long did you say you'd been cooking that chuck for?
So today I smoked it. It took, and this is like a 2-pound piece. It's not very big. So today it took, I think I smoked it for 2.5 hours, and it hit an internal temp of 165. And that's when I pulled it, put it in the tin, covered it with foil with the beef broth and the Worcestershire and onions. And about another 2.5 hours got it to 200 degrees. And it's been resting for a little over an hour now.
I'm going to do these lamb chops in a tempered cook, about a minute on each side. Then I'm going to let them rest quite a bit. You can see they're already getting a nice kind of crust to it. I'm going to let them sit on the side here for a minute after, for about five minutes or so. And then I'll throw it in the oven for about a minute at 500 degrees. And then we'll let it up for the final rest, and then we'll plate everything up towards the end. I added the squeezed orange juice. I added the butter into this sauce here, and I also added the honey. I am going to give it a taste once this butter melts down, then we'll add a little bit of salt to it. The water's just about boiling here on the potatoes. A pinch of salt, pinch of sauce. I've actually had Dr. Pepper barbecue sauce before. My sister, when she was in college and I was in high school, prepared a dish one time. It was the crock pot dish, and it used a can and a half of Dr. Pepper in it, which I thought was awesome. It turned into like a barbecue sauce. Now you're frozen, but we can still hear you. So it's just me on the show now. I don't know if Brian's with us still. So, welcome back, Brian.
Did I cut out? Was that?
Yeah,
me?
you cut out. Yeah, you cut out. It was almost a one-man show. That would have been real rough shape today.
All right. Did you see the smoke ring on the chuck roast? Show that again.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's gorgeous. I think that's a really unique way to do a chuck roast, like using it as a brisket. I think that's awesome. I'm interested to see what the flavor is like. Have you tried any?
I'm trying it right now. This is going to sound very weird. Texture-wise, it's like a brisket. Flavor-wise, it almost tastes like beef jerky.
Really?
Yeah. Wow, that's very different. But I can see why you'd make a sandwich with it, because it's going to be really good. All right, let's get this sauce thick. Whoa. Piece of raw onion went down the wrong pipe.
So here with the raspberry sauce, I'm just letting it reduce down a little bit. I'm not going to take the seeds out of it because I don't really have the equipment to do that, so we're just going to leave the seeds in. You know what? I got a little piece of lamb here on the side. I can test that. Lamb's one of my favorite meats. I just love the flavor of it.
I've got to eat more of it because I just haven't developed a taste for it.
The lamb fat too. I like the fat on beef. There's a lot of people that don't eat fat on beef, which is where all the flavors are.
Right.
I love chewing on lamb fat. It's just delicious.
Right.
And I'm going to toss a little bit of rosemary in this sauce. I'm going to put it all the way down to a low simmer. That's where it's really going to reduce. We'll just put a little bit of rosemary in there to give it a little bit of bite. So, Brian, this is a perfect time for us to talk about Crown Heads and McGee's Smoked Meats.
Yes.
McGee's Smoked Meats. Go to a meet and greet. The claim is Brian has cooked over 800 steaks. I saw that online this week, over 800 steaks. But Crown Heads and McGee's Smoked Meats bring you the finest in premium cigars and smoked meat experiences across the southwestern United States. Crown Heads is a premium cigar manufacturer committed to producing cigars of artisanal quality that are defined by a combination of excellent balance and consistency. Visit crownheads.com or the Crowned Heads on Instagram, or follow Brian McGee for McGee's Smoked Meats meet and greets, which you got to have some of those coming up again here soon, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to get some scheduled. Right now, there's still some. A lot of people don't want to have me, serving food to people in their store just yet. Supposed to have one with Michael Joseph at the end of the month, but they want to just do a regular event. So, but they will make a return sooner or later once this pandemic is under control. And just to let everybody know, the Yellow Rose is back in stock. Thank God. It's been back ordered forever and a day. Hopefully that will be shipping out this week.
So tell me a little bit how you started doing the meet and greets. That's obviously something I'm that I've been to a couple of yours. We participated in a competition together. But like, how did you start doing that? What was your thought process? Because I've been doing a lot of cooking events and around the country over the last 9-10 years. So I thought it was awesome when you started doing it. I was surprised hadn't been more of that.
Right. So I was at there's a barbecue place here in Grapevine called Meet You Anywhere, MEAT. And, you know, as you know, when you're a rep and now as the VP of sales, you know how events go. A lot of events just bleed into each other. They're all the same. So I was trying to think of something that would obviously set my events apart. And half the time when you do an event, it's called a meet and greet. I said, why don't I do a meet, MEAT, and greet? Or if they come to my event, buy a box, I'll cook them a steak. So I pitched it to the powers that be at Crown Heads. I did my first one November 2018 at Cigar Art in Dallas. And I think we sold like 15 boxes that night, had to cook 15 steaks. And they were like, get it. And, you know, of course, I now have a butcher that takes care of me. And so last year, 2019, including the few I did in 2018, I think I've done almost, I've cooked over 800 steaks for these events.
Now, do you always try to do the same kind of meat at each event? Because I've had a few different kinds. You know, we've did some tri-tip before. Like, what do you try to pick the same thing, or do you change it up?
Depending on what my butcher has in stock, usually I try to bring like ribeye strip or T-bone and strip, and then if he's got enough of them, I'll either do like Wagyu sirloin, or I'll do those Denver cuts that we call McKinney cuts. And so I try to mix it up. I try to do something different, have a couple of selections they can choose from, so when they buy a box, they can tell me which one they want and how they want it cooked. And I'll set up a big sous vide at the shop, and I'll sous vide all the steaks to medium rare, and then if somebody wants it more than that, I'll leave it on the grill a little longer. I set the grill up on my truck, and I finish them on the grill.
So what I got going on here, I've got essentially a butter emulsification. I've got almost a whole stick of butter in here. Instead of just throwing it in, I sit there and stirring it up so it emulsifies. Essentially, the molecules bind together. So those are binded here. We are using some citrus in here, so there is acid, so I want that to not break down the butter fat. So we're just doing a little stirring here, working that. That's why if you ever see a chef when they're stirring things, or you go to a high-end restaurant or anywhere, you see them constantly stirring. You're like, what are they doing? They're monitoring the consistency to make sure the sauce stays together. In regards to this one, it's going to be a little bit creamy, buttery, as well as citrus combined. So we'll keep an eye on that now. Turn it back down again. Potatoes are getting close. Brian, let's step up to the top 5 list. This is a fun top 5 list. I can't wait for the Gourmet Facts and the Would You Rather. I've really outdone myself this week. But the top 5 list, here we go. Top 5 horror movies. So we'll start with McGee. It was Get Out, April Fool's Day.
Not too many people would know that one.
I don't know what Damien is. What's Damien?
I couldn't remember the Damien, the 666 movie, the kid that had the mark of the beast. That horror movie. That came out in the 70s, I think.
The kid's name's Damien in it?
Yeah, the kid's name is Damien, and he was the Antichrist.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Exorcist, number 4, and then the popular one here seemed to be The Shining, Stephen King. I coincidentally am from the land of Stephen King.
Yes, you are.
But I don't really watch a lot of Stephen King stuff. I like his my favorite movie he did is absolutely ridiculous. It's called The Langoliers. It's about these little things that eat airplanes, and interesting. Yes. Yeah, that was a pretty cool one, and that wasn't really horror, I guess. But Cole says The Omen was really good. Another one, Omen was good.
All right, that was it. Damien was The Omen. Sorry, I got the names mixed up.
Yeah. There we go. So thank you. Cole saving us. We should have, honestly, why didn't we just have Cole on the show tonight as a guest? I should have had him on the show. Anyway, we'll go with Rui. American Werewolf in London, The Shining, Cabin in the Woods, Aliens, and Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead's a really good one, and Aliens is obviously awesome. I went with Zombieland, Underworld, which isn't really a horror movie, but it's vampires. It's awesome. The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
A Quiet Place, and The Ring. So those are the top 5 there. I'm not a big horror movie fan. I like The Ring. It was cool. But all that stuff scares me. I'm afraid of possessed children. Clowns, not a big fan of clowns. I do love vampires, so Underworld's on that list there. Zombieland's hilarious. So those good ones. But there's our top 5 horror movies. If anybody's got any other top 5 horror movies, feel free to share them with us. We appreciate it. But back to the show. Hopefully the background music's nice for everybody. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, Quiet Place was definitely an honorable mention.
Yeah, they got the other one coming out too, which is telling a little bit more of the backstory, which would be cool. So my potatoes are just about done. My lamb chops have rested. Lamb chops are very thin, so it's very easy to overcook them. So you don't want to cook them like steak. They can't take as much heat as steak. So when they go in the oven here, it'll be probably go in the oven in about 5 to 10 minutes. And then we'll get that in there. Sauce is coming along nicely. It tastes great too. The rum was a good substitute. The Grand Marnier would have been fantastic, but the orange, fresh squeezed orange will make up for that. Well, this is good a time as any, Brian, to mention our last sponsor here. We've got Meat and Bone, our friends over at Meat and Bone. Meatandbone.com is an online butcher shop with local delivery options as well as national shipping. We focus on quality and consistency. Every product Meat and Bone offers has been curated by their expert team and meets the highest standards for quality. They sell only high-quality meat sourced from the best programs in each category and each price point. All of our products have been selected for their quality and they stand behind them. Visit meatandbone.com for ultra-premium meats and for the Gourmet Smoke Sessions food package. Our next Gourmet Smoke Session is on October 29th. That is with Two Guys Cigars in Salem, New Hampshire. That'll be the La Flor Dominicana Gourmet Session. Don't worry, we have a concept coming that we'll be working with Crowned Heads in 2021 as well. So that's coming soon too. But this one is the LFD Gourmet Smoke Sessions. So you can visit twoguyscigars.com. That is the number 2guyscigars.com. meatandbone.com and search hacking, and the hacking gourmet package will pop up. You'll see it in the upper left-hand corner. The October 29th package will be a prime tomahawk ribeye. We'll be utilizing the smoked Mediterranean sea salt again. The drunken cheese will be featured in there, and then there'll also be jamon serrano. There'll be serrano ham, so there's really 3 parts to this of snacking and enjoying a nice meal. So that will be there on, it's live on their website now. But they'll be shipping those products to you 3 days prior to the event. So it'll be ready for you on October 29th. We'll be going live at 7 p.m. on the cigarauthority.com. In the meantime, you can visit twoguyscigars.com for the Gourmet Smoke Session package. It involves 5 Andalusian Bulls, the #1 cigar of the year in 2016, one of the hardest cigars in the world to get your hands on, and an Andalusian Bull ashtray that gets you access to the event. And then you can jump over to meatandbone.com and buy the Gourmet Smoke Session package. So it should be a great time. Lito Gomez will be on there with us. We'll be doing a steak presentation and the whole 9 yards there. So Meat and Bone, our sponsor for that, and twoguyscigars.com coming up on October 29th. So it should be a great time. Put it just over to you, Brian. You got a lot of herbs and spices. What are you eating right now?
I'm doing chucking the barbecue sauce with some of the chuck roast.
There was a question that was asked. Can we get a discount code for Meat and Bone? We will have a discount code for Meat and Bone. The package is online. If you jump on there for the Gourmet Smoke Session packages, those have already been discounted and priced out. and away for those sessions, but we will be getting an actual discount code from them as well in the next coming weeks. And once that's up, we'll be posting that online for you all there with Meat and Bone.
All right, my sauce is almost ready. It's getting thick.
I'm throwing a ton of garlic in here, Brian. Lots of garlic. Lots of salt.
Never go wrong with much garlic. All right.
I like really creamy potatoes, so I end up putting a little more milk than usual. And so if you notice, I put a good amount of milk in there. And I'm going for a really creamy potato today.
You ever use heavy cream in your potatoes?
I do sometimes, yeah. I have used heavy cream. I've been using whole milk a little more recently, and I've been putting sour cream in there too, which has been really good. Yeah. And then this one here, honestly too, Brian, I'm going to probably put just a tad of honey in here, just because I think it'd be a nice extra sweetness with that sweet potato. I'm going to squeeze the rest of the orange into the sauce here to give it a orange citrusy taste on the front end.
All right, I think I'm about 10 minutes.
So one of the questions, what was the ham element in the meat and bone package? It's jamón serrano. It's a Spanish ham. It's essentially like a prosciutto. So that's a high-grade Spanish ham. The next grade above that would be jamón ibérico, which we've actually cooked some Iberico pig on this show before. I did Iberico pork chops, and we're actually going to be featuring that in one of our gourmet smoke sessions as well. But that's the answer to that question. Right now, I'm mashing some potatoes over here. I'm improvising on the mashed potatoes on the mashing. I have a big spoon. I do not have a potato masher, but this is coming along nicely, and this is working really well. So we'll mash these up with this big spoon, and then I'll take a fork and whip it. And we should have a real creamy potato here. The butter's melting in it at the same time. And if anyone is curious, yes, this is hot.
The fact that neither one of us has had a major accident is a good thing. While doing this show.
I mean, I want to make fun of Fred a little bit more, but I honestly, I don't want to, because I thought this would be a good time with him not being on the show to give him a hard time.
Right.
I want him to come back. It just shows me how important he truly is. And he'll be cooking next week, I believe, with you guys. I don't think I'm going to be cooking next week. I'll be eating, but I'm going to, I won't be there with you in Texas, but I'll be hanging out watching the shenanigans that you guys got going on. So that'll be an enjoyable time. So this is mashed up quite well. So now I'm going to take this fork and whip the potatoes up. I'm going to move the sauce to the back left-hand corner. Keep that on a low simmer. And when I do mashed potatoes, I prefer to always leave the skins on. There's a lot of fiber, a lot of nutrients in there, and I just honestly like the texture that it brings. So I almost exclusively leave the skins on the mashed potatoes. It's too bad to get rid of that good flavor that you got, especially on a sweet potato. It's going to get a lot of unique flavor and good texture to it. You know, just whipping this up a little bit. I'm going to keep the heat on low while I do it to keep the potatoes warm. After I whip this up a little bit, we're going to let it sit, give it a taste, and then we'll season it with some salt and pepper if it needs that. And then these lamb chops are going to go into the oven.
I don't know if I've ever asked you if you've done those Hasselbeck potatoes.
I have. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So for those people that are watching and wonder what a Hasselbeck potato is, it's essentially a potato that has been sliced very thinly. It's a baked potato. You slice very thin columns essentially into the potato, and then bake it at a high temperature. And you can add salt, pepper, oil, garlic, whatever you want to it. Some people do cheese with it. But yeah, it's a really cool way of eating it, and it creates essentially like little chips inside where you get really nice, crusty, crunchy potato. So yeah, I have done Hasselbeck, and I do enjoy it.
You know, I do mine. I cut them up, you know, put the slits in it, and I cover it with beef tallow and kosher salt and bake it. And then when it's done baking, I do a quick deep fry. And it turns it, and that way you can treat it as a baked potato, as French fries, chips, however you want to do it. All right, I'm done.
All right, the lamb's been in there for about a minute, so we're going to pull that out. We'll let that rest for a few minutes here, and then we'll give it one more run on the cast iron. All right, Brian, you know where we're at right now? We are at the...
Would you rather?
We're actually at the Gourmet Facks. So here we go with some Gourmet Facks. The Gourmet Facts of the week. Where are they? Where'd the Gourmet Facts go? Here we are, Gourmet Facts. All right, here's some themes for the season. Gourmet Fact number 1. Pumpkins are 90% water and are considered a fruit. They are from the squash family, which is also fruits. I thought that was interesting. Here's a good one. 100 grams of peanut butter is allowed by the FDA to have at least one rodent hair in it. So one rodent hair is considered acceptable in 100 grams of peanut butter.
Wow.
And here's the most, it's disgusting. This one's even worse. Maraschino cherries can contain up to 5% maggots.
5% what?
Maggots.
No.
Yeah.
Man, I got a jar of maraschino cherries.
5% maggots. By the way, great recommendation from the crowd. Cole said, why don't you zest the orange into the sweet potatoes? That's a great call. I really don't have a zester, but I do have this grate, so we can do a little bit of it there, but that's a great idea.
You told me there's maggots in this jar.
Well, there could be. There could be up to 5% maggots in that jar.
That's depressing.
Yeah, it's a little disgusting too. But I think it's probably because they can rot, right? They rot easy with the high
I guess.
sugar there or whatever. The maggots would be all about it. So there are your gourmet facts. They're not very gourmet, but they're facts nonetheless. And we'll go to the sizzle cam real quick, see what's going on here. The potatoes are sitting there. This is brought to you by the Florida Minicana Gourmet Smoke Sessions and Meat and Bone. We did zest some orange into that, which is great. Orange zest. The smell on it's awesome. The second I zested that and put that with the heat of the potatoes, it was just straight up orange flavor in the apartment. The unique thing I got in my apartment is it's just a studio, so my place smells like whatever I cooked for about a week.
That's not a bad thing.
No, I always cook good stuff. It's just the problem is if I burn something, which doesn't happen too often, but you're in bad shape. So, good show so far. Been exciting. The music stopped in the background, but I think that's been really nice for the times where it's been quiet. But we'll keep that going. As I said, October 29th, we've got the Gourmet Smoke Session coming up. You can visit hackinggourmet.com for that, twoguyscigars.com, and meatandbone.com to get involved in that. And now it's time for us to jump on to the Would You Rather. Would you rather, Brian? Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
I got pretty creative. Would you rather? All right, would you rather be a vampire or a werewolf?
Would I rather be a vampire or a werewolf?
Both of them are immortal, technically, I think.
Both of them are immortal, and both of them are nighttime only?
Yeah.
No, werewolf's only during a full moon.
Technically, I think werewolves work during the nighttime stuff too. In the underworld movies, they work at nighttime. So yeah, werewolf or a vampire.
I'd go vampire.
Yeah, I'm 100% vampire too. That's an appealing thing to me. They seem to live kind of luxurious lifestyles in mansions and castles and stuff. Werewolves like live in the ditches and underground, and yeah. So we're gonna go werewolf. Werewolf is not the winner today, but we did have some people that picked werewolf. So here we go. Next, would you rather have to sleep in a coffin or live in a pumpkin?
One time or like always?
Permanently.
Sleep in a coffin.
This was a tough one for me because I was thinking the coffin doesn't sound appealing. I'm claustrophobic, but I don't know if I'd really want to live in a pumpkin. But I'm gonna be honest. I think if I was gonna live in a pumpkin, it would be big enough for me to live in, so it would have some space. So I'm gonna go with live in a pumpkin.
All right.
We've got mixed reviews on this. We've got pumpkin. We've got coffin.
I guess eventually you would get used to the smell of living in a pumpkin. I mean, would it never rot? I don't know.
Cole says the coffin because it's super relaxing indeed. All right. Would you rather wake up in the middle of the night with Pennywise or Chucky in your room?
Ooh. Jeez. Pennywise.
I went with Chucky just because I've always thought in those movies, like, why didn't someone just punt him? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Chucky's little. I've always wondered in those movies, like, why it wasn't like he was this overpoweringly strong doll.
No, but he always comes back, and you're gonna have to fall asleep sooner or later.
True. I went with Chucky. Pennywise, I don't do the clown thing. All right, here we go. We got two more. There's some good ones. All right, so imagine, we're going to role play here, Brian. You're an Uber driver. Would you rather have Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers as your passenger?
That is a typical lose-lose situation right now. It doesn't matter which one you get.
And they both wear masks.
They both wear masks.
So they're COVID-free.
I would go Jason because his mask is less scary than Michael's. Yeah,
I'm going Jason Voorhees as well. Mike Myers is the outfit, the whole deals. Jason, in my opinion, was like a real guy, kind of, first before he went to hell. So yeah, I went Jason Voorhees. And here's the final one. I think this is the best. Would you rather have dinner with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family or with Hannibal Lecter?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre family, because I don't want to eat human.
I mean, now that you put it that way, I have to pick the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family.
Because you know what he's going to serve.
Well, he's going to watch. Well, I was thinking about I would prepare him dinner. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but no, I'm going to go with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family, too. I don't want to eat human. So, there you go. Those are the Would You Rathers for the week. Exciting. We'll have a new one back on the 19th, Texas edition. So, Brian, where are you at on your dish?
All right, here we go. It's plated. Let me bring it up here to the camera. We got a chuck roast, barbecue beef sandwich, barbecue sauce, Dr. Pepper barbecue sauce, and pickle spear with some raw onion on top.
Beautiful.
Now,
let me start plating on my end. Got some chives I'm going to chop up here real quick. Just for some garnish.
That was a damn good sandwich. The barbecue sauce, and Dr. Pepper definitely makes that sauce really, really sweet. But it's still good. It's still good. It's got a lot of flavor. It's just a hair too sweet, and I might have to figure out how to calm that down a little bit. But it was a great tasting sandwich, I can tell you that.
Are you actually getting some pepper taste from it? Like, can you taste the Dr. Pepper, like the peppery of it?
It tastes like you know there's Dr. Pepper in it. There's no mistaking it.
All right, so here goes my plating down here. We'll make it full screen so people can check it out. So one trick I like to do here in my condo is once I get this pan done, I like to throw it in the oven so it doesn't smoke up my whole room. So we're going to do a little circular potato here. I got this little guide. We're going to fill that up with potato. And that milk and the milk and the butter and the sour cream really gave this a beautiful creamy texture to it. You can see it's got a lot of, it just looks creamy looking at it. Nice. So we've got that there. Let's set the lamb chops off to the side. Hit them with a little more white truffle salt on the top.
Man, that looks amazing. Wow.
Then we'll give it a little bit of A bit of garlic right on top there. And there we've got I forgot even what I called this. We got the bloodied lamb chops with the smashed sweet potatoes. Beautiful dish. Looking forward to trying it. The sauce came out nice. I really like the sauce kind of on its own. Find something else to turn that into, but definitely a lot of butter, which is good. Real creamy. This is going to be a really rich, decadent dish. But yeah, you can see a little bit of rosemary here. Beautiful dish. Looking forward to eating it. Haven't had lamb in a while, and I love white truffle salt, so this is a good thing for the holidays. Bloodied lamb chops with smashed sweet potatoes. Brian had the steak on his end, which was awesome. We have gotten to the end of the show, Brian, which means we made it without Fred. It would have been better with him. Right. So we thank you all for tuning along with us. It was an excellent show. These dishes will be great. As I said, join us on our next episode, October 19th. That'll be the Texas Takeover. All the boys will be down in Texas. The animals will be eating. Our dog friends here will be having some great food, so we'll be putting them through torture. October 29th is our next Gourmet Smoke Session with twoguyscigars.com, meatandbone.com. Details also available on our website at hackinggourmet.com. But thank you for joining us. Great time. Really enjoyed it. Kind of a laid-back show. I think this is the most attention we played to cooking here, just the two of us for a while. So it was kind of fun to just sit and cook and relax and enjoy that. So thank you, Brian. Great show. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all again on October 19th.